Hello, and thank you for joining me for this series on retrograde. Let's really get into retrograde. If you haven't had an opportunity to listen to the definition of retrograde, please go check that out so that you won't feel burdened by people inciting fear about retrograde into the universe. Okay, we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about Mercury. Mercury is first up since that seems to be the planet that incites the most fear, that causes panic, and people just want to stop everything. So let's really talk about Mercury. I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet so that you can understand what Mercury is all about, and to help you use reason when signing contracts, when traveling, and doing so on and so forth. Let's get into it. Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication and learning. Mercury is our own personal messenger, describing how we learn and perceive and how we communicate to others our knowledge and perceptions of the world around us. It's the ruling planet for Gemini and Virgo. In astrology, Mercury is the planet of mental activities, communication, and intellectual energy. It rules over your intelligence, perception, and reason, memory, speaking, and writing. It reflects the way you see, hear, understand, and assimilate information. Day to day travel, short trips, and the various means of transportation are under its dominion. It also controls the functions of the nerves, arms, hands, and fingers. Mercury also rules the voice, and people with strong Mercury influence are successful at public speaking, singing, and acting. Mercury protects travelers and benefits education and research. Its rulership ranges from such major areas as the nervous system and the ability to communicate such minor things as handwriting, pens and pencils, communication via the computer, and deliveries. Now, does it make sense when you hear that it's retrograde? When you go back and listen to the definition of retrograde, classical astrology, that it would seem why people are nervous around Mercury retrograde in particular, because they see it as something negative and as something weak, as if the planet is moving backwards or it's moving at a slower pace. And by now we know that it does neither of those, right? It's moving forward. It just gives that illusion. So when you're communicating, whether it's written, verbal, etc., communication, you're going to use reason. Mercury is the planet also of reason and analysis. You're going to use reason. So that means if you decide you want to purchase a house or sign a contract, buying a car, or whatever kind of contract, it doesn't mean you stop everything. It means that you really read the fine print. If you need to hire an attorney to review it before you feel like signing a contract, but it doesn't mean that you're supposed to sign, like all senses are going to go out of the window during retrograde. Same thing with travel. If we were supposed to stop traveling during Mercury retrograde, then airlines didn't get the memo, bus companies didn't get the memo, other places that use transportation, various means of transportation, didn't get the memo either. It just means to be cautious, to just slow down and be cautious. It doesn't mean to stop everything. You don't have to get nervous around retrograde because, again, people are still inciting fear using classical astrology. Please go back and listen to the definition that I shared with you, and also do your own research too. That also helps, right? You want to thoroughly review contracts, right? You don't want to just sign things, but it doesn't mean that you should not sign contracts. As a matter of fact, some people are getting some of the best deals during Mercury retrograde because there's still so many people who are listening to fear-based teachings instead of faith-based teachings, right? Some people are not finishing projects because they're nervous. I'm not supposed to do this. I'm not supposed to do that during retrograde. And it almost becomes a crutch. So again, you're going to use reason. You're going to analyze the situation, but you can certainly move forward. First things first, you want to consult with source inside of you before moving forward with any action, taking any action. But that's what Mercury is about in a nutshell. I mean, you can do your own research on it, but certainly that's not a time for you to get nervous. This is a time for you to just take the time and thoroughly review everything. If you're making travel plans, sending out emails, traveling, whatever, like I said, travel plans, sending out emails, signing contracts, just review everything a little bit more thorough than you would normally, but it's okay to proceed. That's what I have for you. Let's move on to the next planet.